Greetings, peace, and love. Once again, welcome to the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition podcast. My name is Frank Brown. I'm with my brother. Happy Kwanzaa. For all those who recognize the importance of Kwanzaa, for those who don't know the history of Kwanzaa, it is a celebration of the first fruit. It was started by Ron Karenga, and it's very important that we recognize what this means to us, right? Because we have a responsibility to carry on the idea of Kwanzaa. And we recognize this particular day of Kwanzaa, we say Habari Gani, and it's Ujama, right, which is cooperative economics. And when we talk about cooperative economics, we're talking about the idea of working together, what we need to do to bring our people together for collective interest. And everything that we do, the political prisoner has a role in it. Whether we're talking about economics or we're talking about collective responsibility, it's the idea, the sacrifices that the political prisoner has made that allows the political prisoner to be right in the midst of those discussions. So today, as any other day, but I think is this episode is a little different because we are drawing on the conclusion of a year, and as we conclude one year and we begin a new year, we have to create momentum. We have to decide what's going to be the direction of the type of work that we're doing. And we realize the importance of our political prisoners, and we have to organize. We have to get more stronger for them to get home, and that's why we're here today to discuss the tactics that is needed to bring them home, because we need to hold ourselves responsible for bringing them home. Prior to us coming on air, me and Haqq was having a discussion, and I told him about something that I read in his book on Alambe Braff. It's the selected writings and essays on Alambe Braff. And in this particular page, it talked about our role when it comes to the political prisoner and how we had to actually be responsible for bringing our political prisoners home. I thought that it was very, very important because we have their blood on our hand if we ain't doing enough about it. And it's in his book, he was talking about the effort to bring Mandela home and all the work that came along with bringing Mandela home. And he raised the question, what will your efforts say about the work that you put in regarding bringing home a political prisoner? Will you allow that political prisoner to die in prison like Steve Biko did? Or will you be involved in the liberation or the freedom of a political prisoner like Nelson Mandela and bringing him or her to their rightful position amongst their people, which is that of leadership? And I thought that that point was very important because we have to look at that, and, and we have to look at that and say, a political prisoners lying in prison. That's our leadership. Need to be home with their people. They need to be able to participate in this liberation struggle, and it's up to us to bring them home. Abu Haq.
Yeah, peace and love. Indeed, if we put the principles of Kwanzaa to work, if we would put principles into our activities, we will solve a lot of our problems, and a lot of the defeat that some of the people feel, being defeated, feeling there's no hope. You understand? Through collective work and responsibility, you understand? You can feel your power through self-determination. You can decide, who you're going to be, and what your political line is going to be. All right. Through unity, coming together in very, very powerful principles, and we must apply these principles, in our daily lives. And indeed, these are principles that our political prisoners and prisoners of war fought for, and these are the principles that, like I said, if we apply them, we will solve a lot of our problems, a lot of the neurotic uh, tendencies, you understand, that have come down through the enemy. We resolve these type of things, and our, our political prisoners were foremost, in this struggle. So today, I'm going to talk about a couple of our political prisoners. You know, First, I'm going to talk about Imam Jameel Alameen, formerly known as H. Rap Brown. I'm going to give a review of his case. I had given this before in the past, but that's been some time ago. So this will probably be the first time that a lot of you folks out there heard it. Uh, I was in Atlanta for the entire case of Brother Imam Jameel, sleeping in the masjid, going to the court every day. And I can tell you that the Fajr prayer in the morning, you had as many people for Fajr prayer as you had for Juma and Imam Jameel's masjid, because he encouraged to get up and make Fajr. That's one of the things that he encouraged to do. Imam Jameel, he says some Americans is racing the cherry pie. You understand when he said that everybody can fight, but everybody can't win. He said the price of winning is high. The price of winning is to be on the level of your nafsi al-mutmaina, which is the highest level of the human being. The Quranic science teaches us about the three levels of the being. The nafsi al-amara is the lower desires, the lower animal desires, food, eating, sex, and these type of things. Going out, trying to get some money, things that create egoism and stuff like this. The Like I said, the lower beastly desires. Then the next level is the nasi alawama, which is the struggle. A lot of us are very, very familiar with the struggle around Ramadan time, the powerful impetus to control the self. You understand? This is the Nasi Alawama, and the Quran says that Allah Ta'ala swears by the Nasi Alawama, the struggle. You understand? And the level of self that Imam Jamil was talking about was the Nasi Al-Mutmaina, the higher level of the self. Allah Ta'ala says to establish according to his handiwork or what the human being is. Quran 30:30. This is a 30:30 against the enemy, to establish according to the perfection of the humanity that he has put in us. So this is the goal, and this is the achievement, and this is the state of being that we're in when we can fight and win. Okay, like I said, I was in Atlanta for the entire trial of Imam Jameel Alameen. Uh, first thing I want to mention was the jury selection. In the jury selection, any black person who had read one paragraph about anything black, they got rid of it. So what you had, the inductive result was you had 9 Negroes that didn't care enough about their race to read one paragraph about anything black. You had 9 bootlicking Negroes, self-hating Negroes, you understand, who didn't care anything about their people. There was one brother, there was a question this brother, and he got up on witness stand and said, "Well, yeah, I used to be with the Nation of Islam, and we was out there fighting the battle and stuff. So I'm back in the back room. I'm trying to let him know they're trying to get rid of you, man. So I'm back in the back doing like this here. So he caught on. So they asked him, "Do you believe that policemen lie sometimes?" He said, "Well, we're all human beings. We got some bad apples and we got some good. He said, do you trust the FBI?" That question, "Would you trust the FBI?" He said, "Well, according to what I see, I don't see how they would be chronically untrustworthy." So the judge said, "I don't believe you. You out of here." So you had 9 Negroes didn't care enough about their race to do any study at all. Knew nothing about their own type of their own people. Okay. One critical aspect of the case was identification. The cop, you understand, who was the eyeball witness, the main eyeball witness, you understand, he said the shooter was 5'8" with gray eyes. Dig that, brother. He said the shooter was 5'8" with gray eyes. Imam Jameel is 6'5" with brown eyes. In fact, the cop didn't witness nothing. You understand? There was a tape recording where he was on the radio saying that a bullet hit his tear gas canister and he couldn't see anything, and you could hear shots going off in the background. So that was his partner getting killed back in the background, and he testified that he was blind, so he didn't see nothing. He testified that he shot the shooter at point blank range 5 times. When Imam Jameel was arrested, he didn't have any marks on his body. Even if he had on a bulletproof vest, there would have been bruises on his body. He didn't have none of that. You understand? However, the reports of a man on Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard who was bleeding profusely, was trying to flag down cars to get out of the scene. That was a block away from the incident. You understand? There was people in the community said they saw a man bleeding, knocking on doors, seeking assistance right after the shooting. Okay. Another aspect, you understand, that shows some dirty dealing by the pigs was that the testimony was that Imam Jameel was on the passenger side of the automobile. You understand? The trajectory of the bullets in the wheel, you understand, they took as evidence, showed that the trajectory from bullets from the police came to the driver's side of the automobile. And they tried to hide this wheel for the longest time. You understand? And the jury heard all that. The jury heard all that. You understand? And still they came with guilty. All right. And the DA said that the weakness of the case proves he was guilty. You ever heard anything like that before, brother? The DA said,
that's crazy.
The DA, he said that the case is full of holes, but through the holes, you see him. So he was saying, in other words, that the case is so weak that the weakness of the case proved that this brother is guilty. You understand?
And just what you're saying is a deliberate attack on our self-determination.
Right. An attack on our sense. You got juries sitting up there with their mouth open like this is a great oratory, that this pig is giving. You understand? Who Imam Jameel called Trailer Trash McBurney. That was the DA's name. Imam Jameel called him Trailer Trash McBurney. But that was his summation, that the weakness of the case proves guilt. So Imam Jameel is trying to get another case. He does another another trial. Trying to get a new trial. Instead, indeed, he is innocent. Imam Jameel is innocent and needs to come home.
Right.
Also,
We have to. Yes, we have to struggle and get them brothers home.
you guys struggle to get home. I want to talk about this brother, Kamal Siddiqui. This is the father of Asad Shakur's child. Okay, this brother here is not getting the attention that he needs to get. The information of his contact is coming up during this broadcast. This is a brother they're trying to. His supporters are trying to get independent doctor, to care for him because the prison doctors want to cut his leg off. In the penitentiary, everything takes on the character of the Ku Klux Klan. The medical field is supposed to be the most humane of all fields, but everything that the penitentiary attracts, takes on the color and the characteristics of the Klan. So these physicians inside the joint want to cut the brother's leg off, and so he has a fundraiser to get his own physicians to save his leg. So this is Brother Kamal Siddiqui. His contact information will be coming up, and this is very, very critical. They want to cut this brother's leg off. Imagine, if you was in the hospital and they want to cut your leg off. Terrible. So those are a couple of brothers I want to talk about today. Our political prisoners, those who put their lives on the line for us, who sacrifice everything for us. You understand? There's always been a great move among the enemy to destroy our liberation movements. They're locking up our political prisoners. They're locking up and killing, assassinating liberation leaders on the continent. All of that is designed to destroy our move for liberation and self-dependence and independence. And these are things that we got to love. We got to love our freedom. We got to love our self-determination. We got to love independence. And the enemy has done everything that he can, to destroy that. And I want to mention that this jury of 9 Negroes, and a white man said, when they went back to deliberate, a white man said, I'm the foreman, he's guilty. He just elected himself as the foreman of the jury. And when they found this brother guilty and sentenced him to life without the possibility of parole, these Negroes applauded. Can you imagine that? They had one Negro that came out there in the courtroom with an American flag on his shirt, with his chest all out like this. Like he was so proud of what he did. There's another dude, who had long dreadlocks, a couple of years ago, he came to the masjid crying, I didn't know that was Israel, bro. He knew that was Imam. He knew who Imam Jameel was. He was crying. I didn't know that was Israel, bro. But yeah, so the brother needs a new trial. What's it called? Free them all.
Yes, what's it called? Free them all.
Free them all.
So we are short to the point. We make sure that we discuss what needs to be discussed to give the people ammunition. Let the people know that most of us are going through some very difficult times. Our back is against the wall. Every time you turn around, we have a new protocol to follow regarding this pandemic. But we're strong, we're resilient people, and we have to keep fighting. Let us not forget the political prisoners. Let us not forget our role in freeing them. Sundiata Cody said, the state doesn't free political prisoners, the people do. So let's get organized, let's get committed, let's get down. We can't have no more political prisoners die in prison. That's the line. Let's hold firm to it until we bring them all home.
Yeah.
So what's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all. I just want to mention that I overlooked something in my notes about the FBI agent Ron Campbell. Ron Campbell claimed that he found some guns, and people in the know said those are not Imam Jameel's guns. This FBI agent had a history of shot a black man in the back of the head and said, "I'm glad the nigga's dead." So this was a fundamental witness in the case. Ron Campbell, FBI agent, killer, and racist.
Well, that's what we have to do. We have to keep everybody, each other informed. We got to stay on point. And before we get out of here, let's hit the
To
people
this
with a
idea, Miss
word.
Kathy Hughes of Radio One. She's like, Michael, it is time that you guys organize a fund to set aside to help people who sacrifice for our freedom. Meaning, every time something happens, I hear this. Why don't the gang bangers jump up and do something for us? Why don't you kill them? You kill each other. And I say to myself, when is the last time you sent money to Assad Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Matulu Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Mumia Abu Jamal or Larry Hoover or Jeff Ford or Leonard Pelter? When is the last time you have made it your business to send money to a revolutionary or a hoodlum that has helped us? And until we start to do that, how can we ask these young men to be warriors? Because if they do it in the name of the hood, at least the hood gonna honor their name always. At least the hood gonna make sure at least their children got something or their mama's house is looked after. As a community, if we're going to ask people to bungee jump for us with no cord, be prepared to take care of them when they get a life sentence. Be prepared to look after their families. See, I don't mind the work getting done, but let's take care of the workers. Let's stop asking more out of people than we would do for ourselves. So what I'd like to see, my dream thing is to see 1 million people from the culture dedicate $10 a month. That's $10 million a month, $120 million a year toward taking care of civil rights leaders who have worked on our behalf and are elderly now and don't have to take care of themselves, like Rosa Parks, whose rent was paid by the owner of Little Caesar's Pizza. We should have had a fund to make sure that she never had to worry about that again in her life. We should have a fund that makes sure money makes it to Assata Shakur. And Matulu Shakur has legal representation and food. And Leonard Pelter, who has diabetes in jail, can get insulin and taken care of. And until we start doing it, $10 a month is about what you pay on a couple fast food restaurant visits. So if 1 million of us do that for the rest of our life, look at how well we'll be taking care of the people that we're asking to sacrifice on our behalf.
I agree. And recently,
What's the call?
Free 'em all.
What's the call?
Free 'em all.
What's the call?